Your voices, your stories. Local news that matters to you. Tampa Bay 28 News starts now.
Thanks for joining us here on Tampa Bay 28, where everyone on our team is dedicated to sharing your stories and your voices. I'm Lauren St. Germain.
And I'm Paula Grown. You know, all year long, our team of anchors have left the studio here and gone out into your community, sharing stories that matter to you. And one of the biggest stories of the year is the rise of artificial intelligence. Whether you like it or not, it's impacting all of our lives.
And as part of her focus on mental health, our anchor Wendy Ryan sat down with a local rehab center CEO about how AI is improving patient care.
I've been in the community mental health field for over 26 years, and I think one of the biggest changes that we've seen, particularly since the pandemic, is really the willingness of people to seek out care.
Lisa Williams is the regional CEO of Centerstone, a nonprofit group specializing in mental health and substance use disorder treatments. She says behavioral health care has come a long way, but loneliness and isolation continues to be a challenge.
You can be in groups of people and be surrounded by folks and still feel lonely and still feel isolated.
Williams also believes AI has helped change the field in assisting clinicians, improve their documentation when meeting with patients.
There are tools like Eleos that basically listen to your session and transcribe and create clinical notes that improve the quality of documentation and decrease the time that clinicians spend documenting their services so that they can spend more time providing quality care to the folks that we serve.
A recent study by Centerstone revealed the use of Eleos Health decreased the amount of time therapists spent documenting clinical notes by 75%. And there's another use of AI for mental health therapists.
To assist clinicians in training to implement practices that are evidence-based. So through AI, the clinician can, at the end of a session, get feedback on the specific strategies they used and how those strategies align with what the actual best practice is.
And now patients may be using AI in helping their own mental health care in between session visits.
One of the potential uses for AI in the future is for in-between therapy sessions, for patients to connect and get additional support that is personalized to them based upon the care that they're receiving and based upon their treatment plan. So that's a future use of AI.
Do you fear that it's being used even now in place of therapists? And is it sophisticated enough to give the right answers to someone who's asking, who really might need a person, a real person, instead of a computer?
In my mind, nothing is ever going to replace the interaction and the engagement and the empathy that you get from a fellow human being. But I think really responsible use of AI augments and supports our clinicians in providing better care.
Centerstone has locations all over Florida. If you or someone you know is struggling with their mental well-being or addiction, you can always call 1-877-HOPE-123.
He's on a bike, he's going too fast. We're not running today. The streets of Tampa are talking today, and the topic is, what's the number one thing you want to tell your elected leaders, your politicians? What's your number one issue? Tampa Bay 28 is listening, you're talking, it's your voice. Let's go. Your number one issue that you care about these days. Tampa Bay 28, we're listening to your voice. What do you care about?
Oh my gosh, sorry, right now I'm locked out of my car.
No!
So that's kind of the only thing I can think about right now.
What is the most important issue that you care about these days in 2025?
You can answer, I'm not answering.
Can we call somebody for you?
Term limits.
Term limits, gotcha. Thank you very much. There you go.
Thank you so much.
State, local, federal, Tampa, Florida. What keeps you up at night? What do you want to tell your elected leaders?
Let's put a little more effort into fixing the homeless problem, not even just here, but overall.
Thank you so much. That was a great idea.
I need a friend, man. I'm asking people what their number one issue is. What is it that you care about the most?
My grades.
Your grades, education? That thing is coming for us at some point. We're gonna have to pay the rent on the rain.
I have a Traeger, shout out Traeger. Best smokers in the game. Sometimes I just smoke a whole pork butt, ribs, and we pass them out to people downtown.
Is it affordability? Is there a particular thing that kind of keeps you up at night?
I worry about our country, like our democracy. I think it's going into another area, and that frightens me a little.
Bye-bye. Okay, well, we did some good today. We helped a nice lady get back into her car, her Jeep.
The number one issue I care about is my walk with Christ.
I think it might pass us right by. That's what I'm hoping for.
I really don't watch the news. I don't think you should either. I think you should form your own opinions and gather your own information. We're still live. We're still live.
It's still going. I'm used to it. I cover hurricanes. Number one issue that you care about could be anything.
World peace.
Tampa Bay 28. Not only do we listen, we help you get out of we help you know. What's your number one issue that you care about these days?
No free parking.
We help you get back into your locked car, and you think they sometimes get ignored.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of topics.
We're not, yeah.
Thunder, lightning capital of America, baby, lightning capital of America.
I think we're getting the rap. I think that was, you know who, telling us, hey, you know what, you're done. We got world peace. We got term limits. We got staying cool in the hot summer. We got more events downtown. I really appreciate you stopping by to talk to me. Thank you for your thoughts. The streets are alive with the sound of your voice. Tampa Bay 28 listens. This was a good conversation today, I think.
Still to come here on Tampa Bay 28, a changing tide in Hillsborough County. I'm having a conversation with the first female judge in our circuit and how the system has changed over the last 40 years.
Well, Sardia Riley takes us inside a place built for comfort, dignity, and love.
In the 13th Judicial Circuit, which is in Hillsborough County, there were more female judges in 2025 than male judges. I had a conversation with the first female judge in the 13th Judicial Circuit. We talked about what it was like when she first got on the bench and how the landscape has changed.
Nobody paid any attention to what I said at all. It was packed, and it was in the police station, and it was a smelly old courtroom.
When we met Judge Susan Bucklew and Judge Catherine Essrig, it was clear they're old friends. And you two go way back, correct?
Way back. Embarrassingly far back.
Long time ago.
Tell me about when you first met.
I was a teacher at Plant High School. I'm not sure what you were, a junior, so.
I was a sophomore.
Sophomore.
So that that would have been 1971, 1972.
She was a very smart student too. She stood out.
I don't know about that, but.
No, that's true. That's absolutely true.
So she was Mrs. Bucklew to me then, not Judge Bucklew.
Yeah.
And she was young and strict. And I think it was much like when I was a young judge.
Mrs. Bucklew eventually left teaching, went to law school, and became Judge Bucklew, the first woman on the bench in Hillsborough County, as a county court judge in 1982, and then a circuit court judge in 1986.
My younger self had no idea what lay in store. I would never in a million years when I was like that think I would be on the federal bench.
What were some of the biggest obstacles you had to overcome as the first female?
I think in the beginning, I was very concerned about, not making any mistakes because I was really worried everybody had the spotlight on me, and if I made a mistake, it was going to be all over the newspaper. If somebody else made a mistake, nobody would really care.
About what point do you think the tides turned, like you were just saying, where there started to be a lot more females in your profession?
I was the only female judge, I think, until Barbara Flasher. For about 3 years, I was the only one on the bench, and then Barbara came on, and then Susan Sexton came on a couple of years later. And then it just seemed that the floodgates opened.
Voters elected Judge Essrig, county court judge for the 13th Judicial Circuit in Hillsborough County in 1991, and then circuit court judge for the 13th Judicial Circuit in 1997.
And I remember my first morning, I walked into a courtroom packed with people. Every seat was taken. There were people standing against the back wall. The bailiff called my name. I walked in, and I remember thinking, please don't let me trip. I had a cadre of women already on the bench, like Judge Bucklew, Judge Fleischer, these women who were very welcoming and supportive. and really, I think, went above and beyond because of their experiences of having been so isolated, and I think somewhat of outsiders.
Now, decades later, she's one of the majority. There are 35 female judges in the 13th Judicial Circuit and 32 male judges with 3 vacancies. Less than 50 years ago, that was unheard of.
For me, it's pretty amazing, since there weren't any when I came on the bench.
I've seen a remarkable change in the time that from the time that I became a lawyer in 1981. Same thing, you know, it was a handful. It was a rarity to see a female judge, to appear before a female judge. And then all of a sudden, the tide changed. I think it's a whole new world. I think if you walk around the halls of the state or federal courthouse, you see women and men in all positions.
We've seen tremendous growth throughout the Tampa Bay area over this past year, and with that growth comes the need for more services. Our Good Morning Tampa Bay anchor Dia Riley was invited to tour a new inpatient center in Newport Richey and shares with us how it is touching lives across our community.
For families facing some of life's hardest days, support can make all the difference.
There they are! Hi,
this new Gulfside Hospice Inpatient Center is designed to be just that, a comfortable, home-like place where loved ones can spend time together without the constant stress of a hospital setting.
That's really mostly what the desire is from families. They just don't want to leave their loved one. And if they cannot be at home for the remainder of their life and they choose to be at our Gulfside Center for Hospice Care, then anyone that chooses to be with them can. Children, babies, animals, and we take good care of everybody.
There are 24 rooms here. Each one is private, with space for relatives to stay overnight as long as necessary. The center also features several kitchenette areas and private spaces where families can get away to watch TV, relax, and get a break from reality.
It's just beautiful to see that and allow people to have that time to not have to be focused on, is my loved one being taken care of medically? That is happening, so they can just focus on their relationships with their families, their loved one, friends. It's beautiful. Yes, it's beautiful.
Outside, there's a butterfly garden, a fountain, memorial benches, and pavers honoring loved ones who have passed on. Gulfside leaders say this center was built with the community in mind. And thanks to Medicare, Medicaid, and community support, no one is turned away.
It allows a family not to worry about that. It allows the patients not to worry about that. We'll even take care of their pets and make sure they have safe places to be so that people could, pass peacefully knowing that everything is covered and nobody has to worry about that. And that is a big burden that is relieved, so that, again, that just adds to the peacefulness and the comfort of dying with dignity and peace.
From battling health challenges to swimming for Team USA. After the break, I'm listening to a Tampa woman making waves on the world stage. There are some truly inspiring people who call the Tampa Bay area home. People who have overcome odds others couldn't even imagine. And I met a local woman who is doing just that. I listened to her story and her journey to competing on an international level.
I try to count and keep my breath at a certain pace.
A breath is something Sarah Houseman never takes for granted. Because not long ago, it was much more difficult.
Physically, it was feeling like breathing out of like a black little cocktail straw, like all the time. I was born with cystic fibrosis, and the disease progression often leads to needing a lung transplant at some point.
And that's exactly what she needed. Sarah had a double lung transplant in 2019. Fast forward a couple of years, and Sarah tells me she got COVID. While her doctors were looking at the harm COVID did to her lungs, they saw there was also rejection and permanent damage to the new lungs. She had to be relisted for another lung transplant.
I can imagine that was extremely tough on you.
I was doing things after the first transplant that I've never been able to do. I went hiking for the first time in my life in Colorado.
Look who's doing her first.
I was running for the first time in my life. I was doing all these things that I'd never experienced before. So to go from that high so quickly to a low, pretty low, was definitely mentally very taxing.
Dr. Gundars Kotlops at Tampa General Hospital performed Sarah's second double lung transplant in 2023.
It was Sarah's second and redo double lung transplant. Now that is seldom done. That is single digits, 1, 2, 3% of lung transplantations would be redo lung transplants.
Sarah says the recovery from the second transplant was significantly more taxing on her body, but she persevered.
I just had my 2-year anniversary, yeah.
What's that like for you?
I can't believe it's been this long, really. It's gone kind of fast at this point. And it's hard to wrap my head around having had 2 transplants. I know it happened, but I just still can't really believe it.
And now she's getting ready to compete in the World Transplant Games in Germany, an international competition for transplant athletes. She'll be competing in the backstroke for Team USA. She's been training for months in the pool 4 days a week.
For me, having blood clots and some other issues, swimming was prescribed or encouraged by other doctors as a way to help heal some of those other things. And it's great for, cardiovascular. So I just thought it'd probably be the best bang for my buck in terms of my own growth and recovery.
So what is it like for you as her doctor to see her now competing in these transplant games and really thriving?
It's amazing. I'm so proud of Sarah. It is, having the grit and stamina and determination to do that.
The team at TGH sending her off in style. What does your future look like?
Just keep moving forward. Hopefully more great things to come. But it's very easy to be grateful after receiving a transplant. Like everything changes. Organ donation is just so valuable. It saved my life twice. I know a single donor can save up to 8 lives. I mean, it really changes people's lives.
I'm Tampa Bay 28 anchor Andrew Kinsey in Eore City, a popular area for tourists, restaurants, bars, cigars, and of course, a lively nightlife. Not an area you would necessarily really associate with grief. However, that's exactly the emotion that this street invokes for one local family, still trying to navigate life after experiencing a major loss here.
It's often said that time heals all wounds. It's been almost 2 years. Is that saying true for you all?
No.
No. The best you can do is build your life around it.
It's a grief that weighs heavy on the Boonstapple family.
Every day for us, there's the sadness. There is always the sadness.
The sudden death of 20-year-old Harrison Boonstapple, creating an unfillable void.
He just had a joy every day. He was always smiling. He was always smiling.
His life was cut short nearly 2 years ago, October 29th, 2023 in Eore City. Harrison was one of 2 people killed when a gunfight broke out between 2 groups. Harrison was an innocent bystander.
I've learned how to block out what really has happened to him because, I can't take it every day.
In the days after the deadly shooting, police arrested 3 men, charging Caden Abney with firing the shots that took Harrison's life. While all 3 suspects have been locked behind bars, none have been convicted.
Ultimately, I do want a conviction that something is not on our mind every day, but it's something, obviously, that is what we want for justice.
A process that has already taken nearly 2 years as various legal steps play out through a lengthy deposition stage with no possible trial date set.
In the meantime, we're doing the most we can to take care of ourselves, mental health, and just try to be ready for it as much as you can.
It's a process they're not navigating alone. In addition to grief counselors, they've grown close with Chris Jeffords, the director of the Victim Advocate Program for the State Attorney's Office.
It's amazing how you develop friendships with the families that you've worked with.
The program Jeffords oversees provides various resources to help families impacted by crimes, pre and post trial.
We never know how long a case is going to be. We want to make sure that they know what to expect and that they're not surprised by anything that happens.
While the Boonstopples continue to wait for justice, they've turned their pain into purpose, advocating for gun safety.
The highest mortality
of kids, right?
Reason for teenagers, gun violence. So, I mean, think about it.
And what happened to innocence of the young? There is no innocence for our youth.
They're just connecting with people who think the same way that they do. And if that person doesn't think the way they do, they might just simply unfriend them.
Katie Trowbridge, a veteran educator, founded Curiosity to Create, a nonprofit that helps teachers get students more engaged. That's because Trowbridge believes teens are deeply affected by what they see on their cell phones, and they've lost the ability to focus or think critically.
They are being surrounded by one way of thinking. So they're not getting multiple perspectives. They're just seeing what the algorithms are giving them.
She says teens often don't question what they see online. They tend to believe everything as fact.
It really is educating them on how to think in creative and critical ways, how to be those deep thinkers. How do you look at a source and say, maybe I need to see if that's really true.
She also wants to encourage parents to ask more thought-provoking questions.
What was your favorite part of your day today? Why was that the favorite part of your day? What frustrated you at school today? What was the most challenging thing you learned?
And lead by example.
So I think modeling it, showing our students, showing our children, how do you question information? Why do we think that this is really true? And if we don't think it's true, how could we figure out if it's true? So that they're learning from us.
According to research in Jonathan Haidt's book, The Anxious Generation, social media is rotting the brains of Gen Zers. He says their brains are rewiring to passively absorb content rather than actively engage in critical thought.
We're not connecting, we're not learning, we're not seeing different perspectives, we're not having this empathy, we're anxious, we're depressed. We're not getting out and talking to each other.
Also, Derek Thompson's article in The Atlantic exposes how rising isolation is driving mental health issues among Gen Zers. Their loneliness and lack of social connections are crippling them emotionally and socially. And Trowbridge warns it's happening to all ages.
We are at a point of loneliness and isolation. And they're saying that it's as dangerous as smoking 17 cigarettes in a day because we're so lonely. And they're talking about the fact that part of it is because we're staying at home, we're hiding behind our phones, we're not connecting with each other.
Still to come, a follow-through story a year in the making. Last year, I told you about a young mom with breast cancer receiving an experimental vaccine treatment. I recently sat down with her to hear how the past year has gone and share an exciting update with all of you at home. I'm really excited to share this follow-through story with you. In 2024, I told you about Dallas Carroll. She's a young mom here in Florida who was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer.
And they told me that I could do standard care, which yielded 5 to 7 years left to live. And as soon as I heard that, I decided that wasn't going to work for me, because that would put my youngest at 5 or 7 years old and my oldest at like 8. And they need a mother longer than that. So I said no. And Dr. Zernicki said that he had a vaccine that he could try and I would be the second patient. And I said, okay. I didn't care what it was. I was already gonna do it.
The dendritic cell vaccine therapy is a cross between a vaccine and cell therapy. Doctors use a person's own immune system to treat their cancer. I've stayed in touch with Dallas since our original story, and I sat down with her while she was getting a treatment to listen to how the past year has gone and share her incredible update.
Part of the thing is, like with the chemo, like it's still considered standard care.
When we met Dallas in 2024, I learned she's a mom willing to do anything to be alive for her kids.
And to be able to still be here with my kids, is just all I want. I just really, really need to be here with them because they have a lot of people that love them. But I want to love them and take care of them.
So it's been about a year since we've seen you. How have you been doing the past year?
I'm doing really well. Just really excited to be cancer-free. So I was confident that I would get there, but it's more surreal that I'm actually here.
What was it like when, was it Dr. Zernicki who told you that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what was it like when he told you that?
I just started crying, and he looked at me like, well, duh. So it's really hard to believe sometimes, but I'm still really, really excited, and I go back and forth with like how excited I am about it, and I just want to stay there.
I also sat down with Dr. Brian Zernicki, who is the chair of breast oncology at Moffitt Cancer Center. He tells me right now Dallas is getting 2 different antibodies against HER2 protein. They are not chemotherapy, they just help the immune system. He explains what Dallas went through medically in the last year.
So the cancer that was spread beyond her breast, in her lymph nodes and in her liver and her bones, the liver and the bones tumors went away with the shots that we gave her. So she had some residual disease in her breast, so we did a bilateral mastectomy for her. Now normally patients that are stage 4 don't go to surgery, but because we were able to render her disease gone, we were able to do surgery for her. She had the surgery done and some lymph nodes removed under her armpit, and now she's completely clean and free.
Dallas tells me she will still have scans every few months to make sure there is no evidence of disease, and the immunotherapy every couple of weeks.
Previous to my diagnosis, the prognosis was pretty much kind of set out like 5 to 7 years, but now after the vaccines, radiation, surgery, and everything I've been through, there is no historical data to support what happens next. So now I'm on the side of science that's building the bridge as we go. So no one can give me a timeline. And I like that part better.
She's pretty brave to do all that when she had, I guess you could look at it and say her back was against the wall, so she decided she wanted to do something for her kids and her family.
She took a risk and is now looking forward to even more reasons to celebrate this holiday season.
My first Christmas with cancer was hard. And then last year was almost cancer-free. And this year is cancer-free. That's a really good feeling. And I know most women don't get this. So I really hope that they do too.
Make it that much more special to celebrate with your family, huh? Mm-hmm.
It made all the hard days worth it.
Both times we sat down with Dallas, she told me it's really important for women to get checked. She fought for herself when something felt wrong, and she was right. She says no matter your age, it is possible to have good days even after a cancer diagnosis. So if something feels off, speak up.
Still to come, a lesson on disagreeing with respect. I sit down with former Governor Bob Martinez about everything that's changed since his time in Tallahassee. Politics in America has become polarizing and heated. So I recently sat down with former Florida Governor Bob Martinez, who has watched the historic change from the streets of West Tampa all the way to the governor's mansion.
Gerald Ford?
That was in Tampa when I was running for governor, came here to campaign for me.
Can you take me back to what it was like when you were coming up the ranks and compared to how we are now?
I grew up in the West Tampa area, an area called Los 100, meaning 100. Much smaller, obviously, than it is today. But the unique part about Tampa is from a very early stage, it was a cosmopolitan city, although it was small in size because of the cigar industry that brought workers from Europe and from Cuba, with Spain, Italy, Cuba, and the Germans making up that population in the early 1900s. So you kind of grow up enjoying the world culture, quite frankly. And we have very active civic organizations back then. My family belonged to a Centro Español, which had hospitals and clinics and cemeteries and theater, live theater, movie houses. And we were members of that, and by that we were entitled to use all those facilities. And you had the Centro Suriano, which is still active.
How much of being the first Hispanic governor in Florida play into your identity? Was it an obstacle for you? Was it a challenge, or was it a strength, or both?
Well, it's interesting you would bring that up. There's a few things that was kind of interesting. The people that I grew up with, when I was in town and I would run into them and say, how are you going to get elected governor of the state of Florida with your name and you're a Catholic on top of that? And no Catholic's ever been elected statewide. And I said, I'm not running as a Catholic and I'm not running as a Spaniard. I'm running for office. I did not come here to be different. I came here to make a difference.
How do you compare the current political climate that we're in Florida? You do have intense partisanship. You've had, culture wars recently. How do you compare that to the environment that you presided over in the late 80s and early 90s?
It's quite different. I never was called a personal name. My family was never brought into the debate. I never did it either. Today, there's no holds barred in terms of what's said, how it's said, what language is used to say it. Family's not out of bounds anymore. So it's very different in the political arena today than it was back then. I think when I was in public life, the debate was over policy, not over personality as much.
Still ahead, a local nonprofit group is providing life-changing experiences to adults who have disabilities.
When young adults with intellectual or developmental disabilities get to be 18 to 22 years old, they often age out of continued education and have a hard time figuring out where they belong.
Our anchor Wendy Ryan shows you how a nonprofit group is creating an environment filled with creativity, performing arts, academics, care, and respect.
The joy in their faces says it all. These special adults with disabilities proudly sing and dance thanks to a nonprofit group called My Project Free in Gulfport.
It's been a really great opportunity for me to meet new friends and to come out of my shell and try different artistic things that I didn't have a chance to do before.
Isabella Vitale has autism and aged out of her special needs high school.
Pull it up and then let go. Good.
And that's when she found Project Free.
Here they really they don't treat us like we have disabilities. They treat us like we're just people. And I really like it here.
There was such a need. There's such a need for our population to actually be challenged and learn. And we wanted to raise the bar on programs that are out there.
Sharon Vanderlin's daughter, Lauren, has Down syndrome. She says she started Project Free to improve Lauren's quality of life, build her confidence, and further her talent as a drummer, even forming a band called Solar Flare.
I think the thought of being able to actually play in a band, she never had that opportunity. She's been performing and taking lessons and blowing out my windows in my house for years and years and years, but nobody would audition her because she has Down syndrome.
Now Lauren performs with the band in public a couple times a month.
I come in to work every day, I clock in and out, and I got a lot of friends that I support.
All right, here you go, guys.
It's a different experience when you become close with the people that you teach because they just respect everything you have to say and want to hear from you and want to see how you're doing, and it's a very beautiful experience.
Audrey Short, the musical and art director, is also a professional musician herself.
Good.
She says teaching students with different needs can be challenging.
It helps me in my everyday life too, just being able to, everybody's got a piece, do you need a brush, Lauren? Explain it, okay, that's not working, let me try it this way until I see it click. Want those in our glaze.
Audrey teaches all forms of art, including drawing and painting.
Reseal that.
The students also learn how to do pottery, even sanding. And she pushes her students to improve.
Two hands. That.
And loves to see them thrive.
I look at you guys as professionals. I believe in you, so sometimes I'm a little hard on them too, because I know that they're capable and I know that
fill the brush up and
they will take it seriously, and they don't want to disappoint me. They want me to be proud of them.
The most rewarding thing for me is to watch them blossom, and that's what I want them to do. Experience the world through art and music and friendship.
And those friendships are priceless.
It's really nice because I feel like we're all kind of a family here, and I really appreciate that I get to come here every day.
We are celebrating 50 years of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I had the privilege of taking a trip down memory lane with my friend Rock Riley and former player Ian Beckles. I went to YouTube and I found the first Bucs game I ever went to. It was not, and I'm dating myself. It was 1989, New Orleans Saints at home, obviously the old sombrero. You may have played in that game. We won.
That's a year before I got
That was a year before.
Yeah.
Vinny had a good game that
Well, how
day.
old were you?
Okay, I was 12 years old.
So how are you dating yourself if I'm on the football field? How's that happening?
That was too old to play. The older I get, the more I'm interested in the past and how it all started. In 76, and everyone knows they didn't win a game for like 2 years almost.
Yes, from those bad years to where it is now, it's almost considered one of the model franchises in the NFL.
Ian, do you remember your first game, what that was like?
Of course, yeah. And we weren't that good back then. At that time, the Buccaneers had never won under 40 degrees. They never won on the West Coast. And they never won, period. They just, they were just a perennial loser. And when I got here in 1990. And when I left in 96, that's when it was kind of on the upswing with Tony Dungy.
I remember as a kid thinking, if we could just go 7-9 this year, that was all I wanted.
I think what's cool is there was the Doug Williams era where he wanted to stay, but Hugh Culverhouse, and he was cheap. Jimmy Giles, those guys, they're still around. They were here the other night for the 50th, and then there were lean years again, and Ian knows all about that. But he mentioned it was Tony Dungy. It was Tony Dungy and those players believing in him. He was a coach that never swore, never said a curse word. Where can you get an NFL coach that never swears? But they believed in him, they turned it around. That was the big turning point for me.
Dungy almost struck me as the kind of guy that guys would walk through fire for, and he never had to raise his voice to do it. I don't know of another leader that really pulls that off like him. I don't know what is that secret?
I don't think it's a secret. I just think it's being genuine. He's a genuine person. Like, I'm not a religious person, but I applaud whatever he's doing, okay? Because nobody else is doing it like that.
There's so many guys that to me do embody that Tampa Bay attitude. Baker Mayfield is one of them. He looks like Tampa Bay, but Mike Evans is somebody else who I just think he is Tampa. He's synonymous now, and he's been here a long time, with the city. It's like they're one and the same.
We're evaluating somebody who's still on the football field. And there's been a few guys, and if you look up at the Leroy Selmans, you look up at the Warren Sapps and Derek Brookses, those are three different people, okay? And Mike Evans is the one guy who you can put in the same category of a Leroy Selman and a Derek Brooks on and off the field.
He's chasing history, and so that's another reason to watch. Every game he puts in and every season now is kind of a gift. He's going to break some records, and then you start comparing him to people like Jerry Rice.
I think we can all remember when he was chasing the 1,000-yard season last year again. It was crucial. If they would have fumbled, if they would have screwed up, and when he got it, the reaction in the stands, on the sidelines, Mike Evans, Josh Grizzard, who's the new offensive coordinator, he was talking about it just the other day. That was an unbelievable moment. It really was. And so, that shows you what kind of man he is. And they want to win, but they want to get him that record.
So I have visions of Super Bowl every year. What are your expectations this year?
Every year is different. It really is. So last year they scored 29.5 points, and they've got a running attack, and they've got Baker Mayfield, and they've got the receivers. Grizzard kind of was in the building and great with third down, so you would assume that they're going to score 30 points a game, but the NFL doesn't work like that. Still, to me, is the defense. I got to see it. You're counting so much on Hassan Reddick and Yaya Diaby to get to the quarterback. Vita Vea is incredible, but sometimes he's not in there all the snaps. I think he could give you some more. The defense had too much cushion last year. Antoine Winfield looks healthy. He's going to be good. So to me, it's still going to be a question on the defense. I'm not sold, but I do believe that they should be able to win the NFC South.
I would say this to anybody who's questioning the Buccaneers. Who in the NFC could we not beat? right? So for the Buccaneers to get to the Super Bowl wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world. That being said, there's got to be some ifs, okay? It's got to be if Antoine Winfield Jr. gets back to where, you know, he was playing, if we get something from Reddick, if Vita Vea stays healthy, if Chris Godwin. So there's a lot of ifs out there. Because right now I don't think we're a complete football team, but in 4 weeks from now, it's gonna start coming together a little bit, and we'll see a little bit more what we have.
What's my favorite Bucs memory? You know, and this is not one that I was actually by myself at my then girlfriend, now wife's apartment, and I was by myself the day that they played Philadelphia to win that game. The neighbors must have thought I was crazy because I was yelling so loud at the TV.
Why weren't they watching?
Rondé Barber,
Why
yeah.
weren't the neighbors watching?
Yeah.
Right?
And well, actually, I wanted to be by myself because I knew I was going to be nuts that whole game.
It's intercepted at the 10 to the 20. He's gone.
And when he made that interception, and it was pay dirt, and you knew we were going to the Super Bowl, it was so surreal.
Me, it was at the Super Bowl, standing in the end zone. They win it. We're going on live. We'll go on live, and they killed the Oakland Raiders. Brad Johnson comes out of the locker room, comes over to me and goes, "Hey, Rock, are you on?" And I'm like, "Brad, we're in commercial. Dude, go back and celebrate, man, with your friends." And I'm like, what a nice guy.
For me, it would be my first game that I played in Detroit. You know, started as a rookie beside Tony Mayberry, who was also a rookie. We went to Detroit. Won the game. I think we had 170 yards rushing, no sacks, no pressures. It was a good game.
I think the team will be around 50 years from now. Do you have confidence that this franchise just continues to get better and better and will have that kind of staying power?
Buccaneer fans were up here for 10 years with Tony Dungy. Then John Gruden came here. We won the Super Bowl. Then we came down for another 10 years. Then we went back up. Then we went. So it's a cyclical thing, and we're gonna go back down, okay? Because that's just the way it goes.
But when we go down, we'll still love them. That's when you know you're.
That's right.
For me, it's ride or die, baby. You know,
there you
Bucs
go.
all the way. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for coming by.
My pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you. For all of us here at Tampa Bay 28, we want to thank you for opening up to us and sharing your stories.
If you'd like to reach out to us and share your voice, just scan the QR code on your screen. It will take you to a form on our website for you to fill out, and someone in our newsroom will read it. Thanks for joining us.